Sleep time is supposed to be a peaceful moment, a warm, comforting ritual for a tired child. But for me, it was nothing less than a nightmare. Even now, as an adult, a part of that fear still lingers in the back of my mind. I've studied physics, and yet I can't logically explain what happened to me back then. All I know is that I felt something real, something cold and horrifying, something I never want to feel again. Let me tell you everything I can remember. I don't recall exactly when it began. My fear of falling asleep probably started when I got my own room. I was 8 years old. Until then, I'd shared a room with my older brother, who was 5 years older than me. But eventually, he wanted his own space, and I ended up with the small back room. It was tiny, barely enough for a bed and a few drawers. I didn't complain. I knew even at that age that we didn't have a big house. My parents loved me. I was a happy kid. My brother got a new bed, while I inherited the old bunk we used to share. Despite being scared to sleep alone, I was thrilled to have the top bunk. It felt like a little adventure. But on that first night, an odd sense of unease crept into my mind. It was subtle, like a whisper I couldn't quite hear. I remember sitting up in bed, looking down at the green carpet where my toys were scattered. I kept glancing at the lower bunk. Nothing was there, of course, but something inside me kept insisting there should be. Eventually, I pulled the blanket up to my chin, comforted by the faint sound of my dad watching TV in the living room. That familiar noise made me feel safe, at least until I woke up again. When you wake suddenly from a deep sleep, it takes a few seconds for your mind to catch up. For me, the moment clarity hit, I realized something was moving, something below me. At first, I thought I was imagining it. It was pitch black, almost suffocatingly dark. I told myself my parents were asleep, that the house was silent, that I was safe. Then I heard it. The sound that woke me, the creak of the lower bunk. It wasn't random. It was rhythmic, like someone shifting in bed, trying to get comfortable. My first thought was our cat. Maybe it had snuck in when my mom checked on me, but the door was closed. I could see it was closed. Still, I tried to rationalize. Maybe Mom opened it earlier, and the cat slipped in quietly. I turned toward the wall, trying to fall back asleep. The moment I did, the sound stopped. Relieved, I closed my eyes. But then the bed below shook. It wasn't a small movement. It was violent, like someone having a tantrum. Terror gripped me. I froze. My eyes filled with tears, my throat tightened, and I did the only thing a child could do. I cried out for my mother. From somewhere across the house, I heard movement. The thing below me, whatever it was, went wild. The bed rattled so violently I thought it might collapse. I didn't dare climb down. I just sat there trembling, waiting for eternity. Finally, the door opened. Light spilled into the room, and the lower bunk was empty. I burst into tears. My mother tried to calm me down, but I couldn't explain it. Somehow I knew if I spoke about it, it would come back. She stayed with me that night, sleeping on the lower bunk. But I couldn't close my eyes. The following morning, I refused to go near that room. I spent most of the day outside, playing with my friends in the yard. We had tall grass and a few big trees. It felt like an adventure island to us. But even while playing, my eyes kept drifting toward my bedroom window. I had the strangest feeling that something inside was watching me. That night, I went back to my room without protest. After all, what proof did I have? I climbed up to my bunk and pulled the blanket over me. Then came the creaking. This time I didn't panic right away. I listened. The sound was slow, deliberate. Then came the breathing, soft but unmistakably human. It continued for minutes. I prayed it would stop. But then the breathing grew faster, closer, and the bed frame began to shake again. Tears filled my eyes. My throat burned. I didn't move a muscle. Then, a hand brushed against the wood separating our beds. A heavy, deliberate knock. That was it. I broke down, sobbing. My mother rushed in again, found nothing, and told me it was just a nightmare. But it kept happening, night after night, for weeks. Every time it stopped the moment my mother entered. When she stayed in the room, it stayed silent. I started pretending to be sick just to sleep beside my parents. Because when I was alone, it always came back. Months passed. I got used to its presence, not in comfort, but in resignation. Then things got worse. My grandfather fell ill. My mother began spending nights at his bedside. That meant I was truly alone again. I panicked. I piled my toys and clothes on the lower bunk, hoping to block it somehow. That night, I prayed harder than ever before. I held a small wooden cross from my jewelry box in my hand. I thought maybe, just maybe, it could keep me safe. But that night was the worst of them all. I woke to silence, a deep, suffocating silence. No creaks, no breathing. But the room wasn't empty. I could feel it. Whatever haunted me all those months wasn't under the bed anymore. It was in my bed, at the foot of it. I froze. My lips trembled, but no sound came out. My body refused to move. If I screamed, it would know I was awake. I couldn't see it in the dark, but I felt its weight. It was real, solid, cold. I reached for my cross, but it was gone. I didn't drop it. It was taken. Hopelessness sank in. I knew, somehow, that if I stayed there, I would die. I tried to rise, slowly, quietly, and that's when it moved. Not like before, not like a person. More like an animal, fluid and silent. Then I felt it touch me. Its fingers were ice. And then, it climbed the wall, like a spider. I saw its shadow in the faint moonlight. A figure crouched above me, long and twisted. It lunged, its hands wrapped around my neck. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't scream. Then I realized why it attacked so suddenly. The sun was rising. Light began to fill the room, and as it did, its skin burned away like smoke. But before it vanished, it whispered something. I didn't understand the words, but I knew the meaning. It would be back. I woke up the next morning to my father calling me for breakfast. Somehow, I was alive. We moved the bunk to the opposite wall, filled the space with furniture, and tried to forget. But a few nights later, the sound returned. Not from the bed, but from inside the wall. Something scratching, trying to get out. We moved houses 11 days later. Even now, as I lie in bed, I can't sleep near a wall. Because deep down, I know it's still there, waiting.